Hi. So cake souls. While not the rarest drop in Skyblock by themselves, the way it can be used to capture certain players makes it very unique. While most captured players aren't very special, some, like those with special ranks or usernames, are highly sought after by collectors. Cake souls were introduced along with century cakes in the great Year 100 update, which took place on November 4th, 2020. Being only a 1 in 1,000 chance to drop from eating one of these delicious cakes. Given their somewhat rarity, many players didn't even know they existed by the time the update arrived. But anyway, let's have a look at some of the oldest and rarest captured souls in Skyblock's history. So what about the oldest cake souls? The first 3 were created by the admin Minikloon immediately following the update. These were players Admin Assassin, Time Dio, and Pigacle, 2 of which being the first YouTube souls ever created. All were bought by a player named Verloren for almost 500 million coins. They were then sadly lost a year later when the profile they were on was wiped. But what about the first soul obtained by a regular player? Well, this was something a lot more difficult to track down. But I did find a player by the name of Tato, who had gotten a soul only a few minutes after the update, and mistakenly auctioned it very cheaply off, assuming that all players had gotten one, and that it wasn't very rare. The first admin soul also appears around this time, also being sold by Minikloon, and being bought by a player named Jade Weber for almost 200 million coins, stealing the bid from Verloren in the process. The way I'll be defining a rare username here is ones that contain a word or a phrase in the name. Souls like pizza, which I even managed to get, are quite rare and only owned by a handful of players. While there isn't a massive amount of collectors for these souls, the biggest collection, or museum, is owned by Perigold27 and contains over 150 of these. Some of the coolest, at least in my opinion, are names like Mindplex and Awesome. Of course, there is also the 2-letter souls, which shouldn't even exist in Minecraft, but somehow they do. The names X0 and G7 stand out, being only owned by a single profile, making them one of a kind. HF, who also had YouTube rank, is the only 2-letter YouTube soul ever captured, and is currently owned by Ben Clark. Let alone this soul being YouTube rank, but also only having 2 letters, it's just crazy to me that a soul like this can exist. While most of the souls I've talked about so far have either been YouTubers or admins, there are of course even rarer ranks than these on Hypixel. For example, before the unified rank update in April 2025, the official Hypixel account had the owner rank, which was captured by a few players before it was removed. With the most notable example of this being on April 19th, 2021, when Time Dio captured him, this being one of the only times that a YouTuber has captured the owner rank. Another interesting rank, Init, owned by Tommy Init, is also one of the rarest ranks on the server, and soul-wise only 9 known captures of it exist currently. The legendary Pig rank from Technoblade is a bit more common with around 100 known souls existing today. Lastly, there is also some interesting glitch souls, like this one made by DarkLegend, which lacks the regular item lore, and apparently was made using an old showcase block glitch. But now let's move on to the most common soul. YouTuber souls are the most popular type of soul that collectors usually go for. There are over 3,000 YouTube ranks on Hypixel, with some of the larger collections having almost 20% of all these. Now there is way too many to list all here, so if you'd like to check out some of the larger collections yourself, RiceBeast and DarkLegend both have amazing museums with hundreds of these cool souls, but there are also a few of what I think are the best ones. I think cake souls are really cool. It's nice having a little collection piece like this, and it shows where famous or well-known players were at a certain time. With the removal of trading this item in June 2022, it's unfortunate that future collectors won't be able to buy or trade some of the older, more rarer souls. But either way, these things are quite a fun and unique item, with a very interesting history. Anyway, for now, peace and love.